Is a Sumerian depiction of some of the Sumerian gods manipulating a tree. And I wanted to have this, but I can't seem to make it any smaller. You see this thing right here? That's a tree. And it's a tree. And wherever you go, you can Google this same image. You'll find this image over and over and over and over again. You see it down here? There it is there. That same image. These two men standing in front of this tree manipulating it. You can find this image anywhere. You find this image anywhere you go. Looking up any type of Sumerian, Mesopotamian knowledge, you'll find this tree. And it made me think of this tree because this tree is synonymous with the tree of life. It's synonymous with the tree of knowledge of good and evil. All of these different trees that we refer to in the Bible, these are depictions of somewhat similar trees in many of the ancient iconography. You will find these things everywhere. I mean, it's like finding a cross nowadays. You know what I mean? Like you see a cross, it's a normal thing to see. Like just like you will find an ankh in ancient iconography or symbology, you'll find these depictions of these individuals standing alongside this tree and manipulating it. And this tree is synonymous with feminine energy. When I say synonymous with feminine energy, I mean it is a tree that bears fruit. When you manipulate this tree, it will give you a response. It gives birth to fruit based upon how you manipulate it. Yeah. And I immediately, when I was thinking about God and God keeping his word and how do you deal with people in the world nowadays that just don't honor such a thing. You have people out here that will say one thing and agree with you and say, okay, we're going to do this, that, and the other. And then have no intention on doing it. None. They will say that with the hope that, whatever it is that they are looking to prevail in that situation comes to pass. And if it doesn't, they will change their perspective. They will act like they never made an agreement with you. They will never honor their word. They won't do anything to stand in the agreement that they have made with you or to honor the word that they have given you. And they won't feel any kind of way about it. Yet what we find is that in these instances, we can look to God and how God handles it. And we see that God does not fluctuate in his word. If God says he's going to do something, he must bring it to pass. But what God can also do is the unpredictable. And that's where our strength is. God can do the unpredictable by countering his word with an action that renders it powerless. Or he can allow his word to be fulfilled. And then in its fulfillment, or he can allow his word to continue to progress and be fulfilled, but then counter it with a scenario that he has created that renders it, that changes the result of it. That tree that we saw is the feminine principle in which God created. The ancients saw this feminine principle as chaotic. It was the force of chaos that actually formed this earth. But prior to it forming the earth, it was the force of chaos that reigned supreme. Yet it was not initially chaotic. In its most innate form, it's not chaotic. It's only chaotic when you look to handle it. This is why when you look at this iconography that I just put up of this tree, you see that what looks like strange beings manipulating this tree. What the iconography is conveying is that there is a level of mastery that you must have in order to interact with that feminine principle. The principle itself is not chaotic. It is the wisdom of the one that approaches it and that looks to manipulate it, that disallows it from blowing up in their face or from being having an adverse response to their manipulations. Yet, if the one that is upon it puts this tree in an environment that is not conducive to its highest good, or that does not manage it at its code, at its creation, then it is extremely chaotic. It's like a nuclear power plant, like I said prior to. It looks empty and quiet, but you don't want any parts of it. You must be knowledgeable of what you're dealing with before you approach it. Because in you approaching it without knowing what you're dealing with, it is a disaster.